Hi, I'm Nathan Cole of natesviolin.com, and today we're talking to Bériot number 20, with, of course, a special welcome to those of you prepping this for all-state auditions. Now, when I first looked at this to make the video for you, I thought, maybe this is a joke, and they're going to tell you the real etude later, because this is hard. This is, you know, if you've gone through some Paganini caprices, if you've gone through other etudes of this type that combine a lot of different challenges at a fast tempo, then this may seem natural, but I'm guessing for many of you, if not most of you, this is going to be one of the bigger challenges you've faced. So I can't stress enough, do not be locked to the tempo that's suggested, you know, in your music or by the all-state requirements. You know, my part suggests 80 to the dotted quarter note, which is fast. That's faster than I want to play it. And I believe the recommendations are somewhere in the 70s for the tempo. Don't be locked to that. This is an etude that, like most fast things, relentless fast things, it does best with slow cooking. You know what I mean? Taking your time, letting the changes that you're making sink in over time. You can't cram this one. The deep fryer is, that's something I think of sometimes. Trying to put something in the deep fryer, learn it quick, play it fast, the changes are not going to stick with this. You're going to be frustrated, and it's going to take much longer overall to learn. So slow and steady is the key. You need a plan, and if you go to natesviolin.com, you can find my music with my fingerings, which may help out. You know, undoubtedly your music will have some suggestions, but you can see exactly what I did in my performance by going to natesviolin.com. So when I say slow, I mean the tempo that makes this feel easy for you. Now, there are going to be measures in this that are not going to feel easy at any tempo in the beginning, but as a ballpark, I mean really relaxed. That feels easy for me at the moment. For you, it may be a little slower than that. Go with it. If you're giving this time and you're not trying to push it, then you'll have time to get it up later, but to get all the timing of all those shifts and to hear the notes as they're in the places they're supposed to be. This etude rewards an organized hand, by which I mean you know what position you're in, you know where your one is. You'll see that I leave my one on the string almost all the time, and in fact I leave most fingers down when I can. Looking at the second bar, you don't want to be picking everything up. That'd just be silly. you want to know where your 1 is, so I'm here in 5th position. When I shift down into 3rd now, I want to shift down with both 2 and 1, because my 1 is next going to be on a D natural. So in 5th position, my 2 and 1 have a half step. Now they have a whole step going down. Again, a whole step. And that's, I'm not going to go through every instance of that because it's practically every measure. But knowing where your first finger is so that you have that frame, 1-4, the octave frame. Because you'll notice even in the notes I just played, there are octaves in there, they're just hidden. And then the other fingers can move around and within those. So that's a key concept that this etude will help develop, as long as you give it time. My fingering suggestions will help with the high stuff. One thing I see a bit too often is people coming way, way far around to get up to the high positions. Depending on your setup and the size of your arm and hand, you may need to come around some. Only do as much as you need, and then don't forget to come back. By around, you know, I mean bringing the elbow over this way, bringing the arm up. You know, do what you need, but then come back when you go to the lower positions again. Don't get stuck over there. That's going to put enormous strain on your hand and make the hand and finger positions more difficult. So far we've talked mainly about left hand challenges here. This is also an etude for the bow arm. There are Kreutzer etudes that are less difficult than this that will also help develop these kind of odd string crossings. So again, looking at bar 2, this pattern. So, you know, really it's just 2 notes on the A, 2 notes on the E, but it's a less comfortable pattern than if it were just starting on a down bow. Right, this is. And until you get used to that, that's a more difficult pattern, especially to do fast. So you can do just what I did, practicing the open strings, not worrying about the fingers. So instead of, you've got. What you like is to travel the least distance necessary between those two strings. So you don't want, you know, right? Your arm level is going to be basically in between the A and E strings, and the hand can navigate going between just 2 strings. If you're dealing with more than 2 strings, then the arm needs to get involved. But just between 2 strings, the arm can stay in one place, that's between the 2 strings, and the hand navigates. So the timing of it, you want the bow arm to slightly lead the way. So in other words, while you're playing the down bow A string, the hand can slightly lead over to the E, and then back. And I'm intentionally blurring it a little bit. You hear. You can practice it that way to get that more circular feeling rather than. You're only going to come to heartache if you try to play it up to tempo like a machine like that. It needs to be a little circular. You can practice that pattern starting down, starting up. You'll have to be familiar with that to play this etude quickly. And that will go for any of these difficult bowing patterns. One of the most difficult starts in the 20s, looking at bar 22, bar 23, where you're having to skip over strings. So let's take going between the D and E strings here. Now this you don't want to do just with the hand. That's too big a distance to travel. Your wrist, everything's going to get out of position if you do that. So the arm will need to be involved. Again, it's going to lead the way. So not just D, E, but D leading to E, back to D. And there's a little bit of throwing of the wrist back and forth a little bit to clarify, because if you don't do that, if you just do it with the arm, you're going to hit that middle string. You hear the A in the middle. If I flick the wrist just a little bit, I can effectively bypass that A string. And it can be easier to do it a little higher in the bow, so it may never be 100% clean. That's just a wicked bowing pattern. But again, when you practice it slowly, but when you do, make the change quick. So don't just practice slowly, but so then when you put the notes with it, that's one of the key things, practicing slowly but with quick transitions to simulate how it's going to be when it's up to tempo. Other than that, have fun. May sound strange to say, but give yourself time, avoid frustration, keep it as long as you can at a tempo where things feel like you can achieve, like you can have success. And I certainly had fun recording this for you. I won't say there were no struggles. There were struggles. But have fun with this, and this is really going to help organize that left hand and whip some shape into the bow arm as well. Thanks.